Hi everyone, so I'm back with another One Take Wonder, and today's wonder is actually a follow-on from a previous video that I would have recorded, the one that's called Finish the Race. And this video is actually based on thoughts that I had coming out of the previous video. So in that video I would have shown you a clip where there was a 100-meter and people like Bolt, Gatlin, there was, I think Tyson Gay was in that race, Yohan Blake, and in that particular race, the analogy I was using was the fact that you need to run to the finish. Imagine that Bolt running a race would turn back and let others pass him while the finish line was so near. And that was that particular analogy. But what struck me about the clip that I showed to you was actually what the commentator said. And that is going to form the basis of the video today, because as I was watching it, his words really struck me and I felt like it could be applied to our Christian race as well. Now, I'm going to play over the clip for you so that you can listen to him for yourself, once again, the commentator, and then I'm going to go through the different points in what he said and how I think they can be applied to us.
Gatlin got away the better of the two, I must say, but and Blake was a little bit under pressure, but look at this. This is the point at which he moved away. And how can you do this? This is the Olympic final. It's not a heat, it's not a semi-final, it's the Olympic final, and that should not happen.
So the first point that I took from the video was that he said that Gatlin got away the better of the two. So that's point number one. It was a race, it had many people, but they said Gatlin got away the better of the two, or Justin, whatever. But the point is, they were saying that he got away better than Bolt. Then the next point I'm going to focus on, he said, I must say, what? No, he said Blake looks like he's a little under pressure. Blake a little bit under pressure will be the second point. And then he also said, but look at this. Look at this. This is the point where he absolutely moved away. He meaning Bolt, right? This is the point where he absolutely moved away. And then he said, I'd have to look now at my book because I really can't remember everything. And then he said, and how can you do this? So that is probably going to be point number 4, or it's going to be mixed with point number 3. So we have 3 points so far. Gatlin got away the better of the two. Blake is a little bit under pressure. This is the point where he absolutely moved away. And how can you do this? Because Bolt had pretty much taken over at a point where they thought it should have been practically impossible for him to run the way he did and to pretty much have such a gap between him and the rest of the competitors. So point number 1, how can we apply this to the Christian race? Now, in our race, it may seem that persons may be getting away better than us. We might be looking at others and they might seem to really have the edge on us. They really know how to live this Christian life, and they've gotten out the blocks way better than us, and we feel like we are way behind. However, the first point on that note I wanted to make was that firstly, we shouldn't really be making others our yardstick in this Christian race. How we may perceive them to be, how we may think that they have an advantage over us. We shouldn't even be comparing ourselves in the first place, because each person has to run an individual race, and us finishing the race is not dependent on someone else. Matter of fact, us winning the race is not dependent on someone else, because we established in the other video that in the Christian race, everybody that finishes is a winner. And I wanted to read Hebrews chapter 10 verse 35 to 36 for you, because in being our human selves, we do compare ourselves to others, but Hebrews tells us that we should not cast away our confidence. So even if it may seem that others may be living this Christian life a whole lot better than you, even though it may seem like they're getting all the blessings and you feel like you did not start your race that well, Hebrews 10:35 and 36 tells us, "Cast not away therefore your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward. For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of God, ye might receive the promise." And so even if you got a bad start, even if your reaction time was dismal, like Bolt's was in the World Championships that was gone, even if that was so, and say a Christian Coleman takes you out, cast not away your confidence, because which hath great recompense of reward. Because at the end of the day, if you do the will of God, you will receive the promise. And so that was the first thing that struck me. Even though others may get out way ahead of us in this Christian race, as we may see it, that does not mean that we have to cast away our confidence. And the same thing here. The second point where he said Blake was a bit under pressure. Yes, at some points in time during the race, we will be under pressure. But we should be able to say like Paul, as he was writing to Timothy, in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 7 and 8, we should be able to, amidst all these struggles and battles, amidst all the pressure, be able to say, "I have fought a good fight, I have finished my course, I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day." And so even though Blake was a little under pressure in the race, I actually believe he came second, if I remember the clip well. You might be a little under pressure in this Christian race, but you can still finish. You can still fight the good fight. You can still put in a great effort, and Jesus will be there to greet you at the finish line. The third point that came out to me, the commentator said when Bolt pretty much passed out everybody, he said, "And how can you do that?" Y'all know where I'm going with this. No, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so in this Christian race, when you fall down, when you stumble, when you don't start as good as you think that you should have started, how can you do that? How can you recover? How can you, like Bolt, just command the Christian race? You can do it because you can do all things through Christ which strengthens you, which we see in Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. Regardless of your start, you must not cast away your confidence. Regardless of the pressures along the way, you must fight the good fight of faith, knowing that Jesus will reward you at the end of it. And how can you do it? How can you press forward and press through? Because you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, and because all things that are impossible with men are possible with God. And so cast not away your confidence, but fight the good fight of faith to the finish.